The grocery store hummed with the quiet rhythm of an ordinary evening. Fluorescent lights flickered slightly, casting a dull glow over the aisles stacked with cereal boxes, canned goods, and neatly arranged produce. A slow jazz tune drifted from the overhead speakers, barely audible over the beeping of cash registers and the occasional murmur of conversation. Jason Statham moved through the aisles with the ease of a man who belonged anywhere and nowhere at the same time. Dressed in a plain black jacket, dark jeans, and scuffed boots, he looked like just another customer, blending effortlessly into the scenery. His movements were deliberate, controlled. A carton of milk in one hand, a loaf of bread in the other, he appeared lost in the mundanity of shopping. But his sharp eyes were never still, quietly scanning the store with the precision of a predator who had spent a lifetime watching for trouble before it arrived. A few feet away, Keisha maneuvered her shopping cart down the aisle with a quiet determination. She was young, maybe in her early 30s, with deep brown skin and tired eyes that carried the weight of responsibility. Her son, Malik, a small, curly-haired 7-year-old, clung to her side, bouncing slightly on his toes as he pointed at a box of cereal. "Mom, can we get this one?" Malik's voice was hopeful, wide brown eyes fixed on the brightly colored box. Keisha sighed, her fingers briefly gripping the shopping cart's handle a little tighter. She checked the price, doing the mental math before shaking her head. "Not today, baby. Let's get the store brand instead." Malik pouted but didn't argue. He understood, even at his age. That was when they walked in. The doors slid open with a hiss, and 3 men strode inside, bringing with them the stench of cheap beer and arrogance. Chet, the self-proclaimed leader, was built like a man who spent more time intimidating others than working an honest job. His blonde hair was buzzed short, his jaw thick and perpetually clenched. Ray, the lanky one, had a grin that never quite reached his eyes. And then there was Doug, a walking slab of muscle with a dull expression, the kind of guy who took orders without question. They didn't belong here, not in the way Jason did, not in the way Keisha did. Jason's grip on his grocery basket tightened slightly as he watched them enter. The shift in energy was immediate. The casual laughter of customers dimmed as the 3 men sauntered through the store, their presence intrusive, suffocating. Then Jason saw it, the way Chet's eyes landed on Keisha, how he elbowed Ray, nodding in her direction, his mouth twisting into something ugly. A whisper, a chuckle. Jason didn't react, not yet. He had seen this before. The start of something that never ended well. Keisha barely noticed them at first. She was too busy focusing on her shopping list, mentally counting every dollar before placing an item in her cart. But when she reached for a can of soup, the sudden jolt of her cart made her stumble slightly. Chet had bumped into it, hard. "Oh, my bad," he said, his voice thick with sarcasm, hands raised like he was innocent. But the smirk on his face told a different story. Ray chuckled beside him. "Yeah, maybe you should shop somewhere more affordable, like the food bank." Doug snorted, shaking his head as if the very sight of Keisha offended him. Malik flinched at their voices, his tiny hands gripping his mother's coat. His wide brown eyes darted between the men and his mother, sensing her tension. Keisha took a slow breath. "Ignore them. Just keep moving." Her fingers trembled as she pushed the cart forward. She had been through this before. She knew better than to engage. They want a reaction. Don't give them one. But Jason saw everything. From his spot near the refrigerated section, he noticed how the store shifted. Employees busied themselves with stacking shelves, their backs conveniently turned. The cashier avoided looking in Keisha's direction. Customers who had been lingering nearby suddenly found reasons to move away. No one wanted to get involved. The air felt heavier. Chet wasn't done. As Keisha turned down another aisle, Chet stepped in front of her, blocking her path. He reached into her cart without hesitation, grabbing a loaf of bread and holding it up like it was stolen goods. "You people always take from us, don't you?" His voice was laced with venom, his eyes full of cruel amusement. Keisha's hands clenched into fists at her sides. Her breath came in sharp, uneven bursts. Malik's little voice quivered. Mom, let's go, Keisha snapped. Leave us alone, she said, her voice sharp, her patience gone. Ray and Doug laughed like it was the funniest thing they'd heard all day. Chet took a step closer. And that was when Jason moved. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. He simply turned his head, slowly. His piercing blue eyes locked onto Chet like a predator sizing up its prey. A silent promise of violence rested in his stare. Chet stopped laughing. Ray shifted uncomfortably. Doug swallowed hard. For the first time, they felt watched. Not by the other customers, not by some store manager who would politely ask them to leave. By someone who wasn't afraid of them. The energy in the store changed. And Chet, for the first time, wasn't so sure he wanted to keep pushing. Chet forced out a loud, exaggerated laugh, trying to shake off the weight of Jason's stare. His voice filled the grocery store, bouncing off the shelves like he was performing for an audience. What's up, tough guy? He spread his arms, making a show of Jason's silence. You're a bodyguard or something? Ray and Doug chuckled nervously, but it wasn't the same confident laughter as before. They could feel it too, the shift in energy, the presence of something dangerous in the air. Jason didn't answer. He didn't need to. His stare was cold, piercing, like a predator sizing up a weaker animal. Chet was used to people looking away, pretending not to hear, avoiding confrontation. But Jason wasn't looking away. His stance shifted ever so slightly. He adjusted his weight, feet planted firm like he was expecting a fight. His fingers flexed, relaxing and tightening again in slow, deliberate movements. Keisha saw her chance. She gripped Malik's hand and turned away, heart hammering in her chest. Come on, baby, let's go. But Chet wasn't finished. As she passed him, his hands shot out and clamped around her wrist. Malik yelped, trying to pull his mother away. Keisha's breath hitched, her entire body tensed, the familiar terror creeping up her spine. Jason's fingers curled around the can he was holding, knuckles white, grip firm. His eyes flicked to Chet's hand on Keisha's wrist. The whole store froze. The employees? Still pretending to be busy, eyes glued to their tasks, as if the grocery suddenly became the most fascinating thing in the world. Customers? Looking down at their carts, checking their phones, shifting uncomfortably. No one moved. No one helped. Except for one woman in the frozen food section. She wasn't stepping in. She wasn't calling for help. But she had her phone out, recording. The silence was deafening. Jason inhaled slowly, controlled, measured. The tension was at its breaking point, and Jason was about to end it. Chet's fingers tightened around Keisha's wrist. She winced, trying to pull away, but his grip was like a vice. Malik clung to her leg, eyes wide with fear. Then, Jason spoke. A low, controlled voice. The kind that didn't need to be loud to be terrifying. Let her go. Chet's smirk faltered for just a second. His grip loosened slightly, almost like his body had obeyed Jason before his ego could stop it. Ray, the taller of Chet's goons, stepped forward. Jason reacted instantly. His fist shot out, fast, precise, brutal. It slammed into Ray's ribs with a sickening thud. Ray's breath left his body in a choked gasp. His legs buckled, and he crumpled to the floor, wheezing. Doug's panic kicked in. He let out a roar and lunged at Jason, swinging wildly. Jason dodged effortlessly, like he saw it coming before Doug even moved. Then, crack! A swift backhand sent Doug flying into a shelf of canned goods. Tins rained down around him as he groaned in pain, barely able to sit up. The store was dead silent. Chet, he was alone now. Jason's gaze locked onto him. No words. Just a step forward. Chet stumbled back, his bravado shattering like glass. His heel caught on a crate of apples, and he went down hard, landing flat on his back. Jason loomed over him. Then, in a slow, deliberate motion, he knelt beside Chet. So close, Chet could feel the weight of his presence. A pause. Then, Jason whispered, "Walk away." Chet's chest rose and fell in panicked breaths. His lips parted, but no words came out. He scrambled to his feet, tripping over himself as he bolted for the exit. The store remained frozen as the door slammed behind him. No applause, no cheers, just the heavy silence of shock. For a moment, the store felt like a vacuum, silent, heavy, unreal. Then life snapped back into place. A whisper from behind the register. That was insane. The cashier stared in disbelief, her hands still hovering over the scanner like she'd forgotten how to use it. A young black man, dressed in a hoodie, nodded at Jason, silent respect passing between them. Other customers murmured, glancing at Jason like he was something out of a movie. But he didn't acknowledge any of it. Keisha took a shaky breath, her body still trembling from adrenaline. She turned to Jason. "Thank you." Her voice was quiet but filled with genuine gratitude. Jason gave a slight nod, nothing more. Then, a tug at his sleeve. "Malik." The little boy looked up at him, his eyes wide with admiration. "You're like a superhero." For the first time that evening, Jason smiled. Just slightly. A fleeting moment. But it was real. He messed up Malik's hair gently, then picked up his shopping bag. No grand exit, no soaking in the attention. Just a simple, silent departure. As he walked toward the door, the automatic sensor hesitated for a second, as if unsure whether to let him leave. Then, whoosh, the doors slid open, and Jason Statham disappeared into the night. The video hit the internet like a spark in dry grass. Within hours, it was everywhere. The headline, "Jason Statham stands up against racist bullies in grocery store." Millions clicked, millions watched. The shaky phone footage showed everything. Chet's taunts, Keisha's fear, Malik's tears, and then Jason. The way he stood, the way he moved, the way he took them down without hesitation. News channels jumped on it. Talk shows debated it. Why didn't anyone else help? What does this say about racism in America? Would the story be different if Jason wasn't famous? Some called Jason a hero. Others slammed the bystanders for doing nothing. And then, Chet's goons. Their faces were everywhere. Screenshots from the video plastered across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. People dug into their pasts. Ray, multiple racist posts found on his Facebook. Doug, fired from his construction job within 24 hours. Chet, the worst hit, his boss saw the video and terminated him immediately. His company released a statement. "We do not tolerate racism. Chet is no longer employed with us." The internet celebrated. Justice, instant and undeniable. Meanwhile, Jason, he stayed silent. No statements, no interviews. Just like in the store, he let his actions speak for themselves. The viral video didn't just expose Chet and his goons, it changed Keisha's life too. Donations poured in from strangers who wanted to help. A GoFundMe campaign raised thousands within days. A small business owner saw the video, a black woman who owned a cafe nearby. She reached out. "You need a job? Come work for me. No one should have to go through what you did." Keisha accepted. For the first time in a long time, she felt like things might actually get better. Jason Statham? He vanishes from the spotlight. Reporters chased him. News anchors begged for an interview. "Jason, why did you step in? Do you consider yourself a hero? What message do you have for people who just watch and don't act?" Jason gave one answer. Calm, simple, unshaken. Right is right. Then, just like in the store, he turned and walked away. Chet's life falls apart, fired, evicted, disowned by his family. No one wanted to be associated with him. His goons faced the same fate. They tried to apologize, tried to spin the story, but the internet wasn't buying it. Justice had been served. The lesson? It wasn't about Jason Statham. It wasn't even about the fight. It was about the power of standing up, the power of one person saying, "Enough," and the ripple effect that followed. Because sometimes it only takes one person to make the whole world pay attention.